So Four Knights of the Apocalypse chapter 166 is out, and this was another really cool chapter. We got some pretty cool conversations between Percival and Gareth after their basic reunion, kind of, with the end of the previous chapter. We got some developments with the tournament and how this is going to be laid out. And Percival, a lot's going on in Percival's head is all I'm going to be saying after the events of this chapter. And we had a pretty sweet moment between him and Anna towards the end of it. But before we jump right into the chapter, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps and shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. Now, I am doing the face cam more often because I kind of like doing it. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of prefer this over the avatar, but the avatar's not going anywhere. I'm probably going to throw this in there whenever there are times where I don't feel like using the face cam or whatever. So that's not going away. Larger videos are going to have the avatar, so I've seen the comments. Don't worry, that's not going anywhere anytime soon. So the avatar is coming back. But with all that out of the way, let's just get right into the chapter, shall we? So chapter 166 of Four Knights of the Apocalypse, titled Tension in the Air. Cover image, Edlin and Boris just drowning their sorrows away by drinking as much beer as they possibly can. Edlin kind of got taken out kind of unfairly. I mean, it was a battle royale, I shouldn't really say unfairly. After literally getting stabbed in the back, Boris deserves to just drink his sorrows away. The guy got folded instantly. It was just humiliating. It was borderline useless. So, I feel bad for the guy. Moving on. So the chapter starts off directly from last week, where Percival crashed into Gareth and basically spilled all of Gareth's food on his face. But after saying, what are you going to do about the fact that you just ruined my dinner, Percival immediately just eats every inch of food that just landed on him, saying how good the food is. And so he apologizes, saying how he lost track because of all the food in the area. He mentions how Gareth ended up beating Edlin earlier, but Gareth has no idea what Percival's talking about and who that might be. Percival says it was his friend and that Gareth even slashed him earlier. But Gareth doesn't seem to recall any of that. Could just be the fact that Gareth has maybe a split personality thing. Could just be the fact that Gareth just didn't memorize any faces of anybody that he tried to literally just kill in the previous chapters, for all we know, or just can't be bothered with whoever they end up fighting. So it might be that, because Percival's also kind of confused. But anyway, they both introduce each other and they both begin just chowing down on some food as they begin talking about why they're basically here in the Cauldron. Percival says that he's here to find somebody and that's why he broke in here. Percival says that he's doing that to find somebody, but also one more errand that he needs to do. So, obviously, referring to finding Tristan, and perhaps he's referring to Lancelot, maybe. There could be something else going on here, but I'm not sure what this other errand Percival really means. I just think it's just the fact that he came for Tristan and to find Lancelot. Could also be the sacred treasures that they're basically going to be getting from Dubs also. But yeah, Gareth says, so that's why you wanted to break into Anven, this giant cauldron with no escape. You're really going to extremes for a party of all things, is all I'm going to say. Percival says he likes festivals, he can't wait to see what kind of strong people he's going to see in this whole place. But Gareth basically just exhales in sighs, stating, man, sarcasm really goes over your head, huh? But Gareth lays down some pretty interesting information. They've lived in Anven. They've been there since they were born. So this is the first instance that we know that people can be born in the Cauldron, that people have been here long enough to have kids here or have families in this whole area. So that's an interesting piece of information. It could also show why Gareth has been so ruthless in that fight. Being raised essentially in this area could showcase some ruthlessness. Who knows, it might be the same case for Balin for all we know. But that is an interesting piece of information. Now, this does potentially paint a time frame because this story takes place 18 years after the very end of Seven Deadly Sins, after what happened with the Demon King and Chaos and Arthur reviving and all that. So, Gareth can't be older than maybe 16, 17 to be born in the Cauldron, is all I'm going to say, because everything that happened with Percival happened 18 years ago. In this time frame, there's just a lot to really consider when it comes to Camelot, the Cauldron, when this was created. We have no idea, but yeah, that's kind of an interesting point to get across. Percival says, wow, you're kind of like me. I only went into the world 2 years ago. Before then, I was living with my grandpa up on God's finger, the giant mountain that part of the clouds. And as Percival's getting chatty and talking to somebody that has a similar situation in terms of being stuck in the same area for basically their entire life and not knowing the outside world, says, man, I was shocked when I first saw the outside world, you know. But it's then that Gareth gets frustrated and slams down on the table and starts yelling at Percival, stating, are you even listening? Unlike you, I can't get out of here even if I want to. So, I mean, yeah, this whole thing is literally, it's a prison. So, yeah, Percival can seemingly get out of here thanks to Thetis and thanks to Gawain. So, he's got an out. They can just get out whenever they want to. They just came for Tristan and some information. Gareth can't. Percival does offer to, like, once everything's said and done here, they could all leave together. But Gareth just slams food in Percival's face to kind of shut him up, and also to kind of just show how much he doesn't like Percival at this point. But Percival also immediately, once again, eats the food that was just thrown on him. Gareth says, you look like such a goddamn hero. But then goes on to say something that definitely shakes Percival to his core. I can smell it all over you. The smell of death and all the misfortune that befalls those close to you. And that image of Percival of shock is just insane, because the last time he thought about this stuff, back when he basically committed self-deletion at the end of part 1 of the story before the time skip. Now we all know he was in spirit realm, all that stuff. He was basically kind of somewhat being able to get the general gist of what was going on over those 2 years. But those feelings never truly went away. Even when Nazians came back, there was always the chance that what occurred in the past, Percival still holds on to. So, yeah, this shows that Percival still 100% still holds on to the fact that he thinks the fact that he's around is definitely going to cause misfortune and death for everybody. And, yeah, man, if you're going to say something to Percival to kind of shake him up, that's definitely going to be it. Gareth leaves saying, you made it to the finals, right? If you draw me, I'm gonna whip your ass and wipe that insipid smile off your face. So yeah, definitely frustration from Gareth after everything he heard from Percival. But this also shows that perhaps Gareth has some sort of attunement or is able to read people in some way, shape, or form. Because you don't just say, I can tell there's death and misfortune befalling anybody around you. Moving back, Percival just sits there and just repeats what Gareth said. Misfortune close to me. As yeah, he's just slumping there over the bar, just kind of thinking about it. So yeah, he's definitely thinking about the fact that this could potentially be true and how this is still bothering him 2 years later, and the fact that this could still technically be right. But it's then An that shows up, asking if Percival is still eating. She was looking for him up and down all over the place, and as Percival's asking why she's looking for him, she says that it'd probably be better off for everybody to kind of sleep in the same room together to an extent. Keep each other safe, keep an eye on in case anybody tries to pull something at night to kind of push things to their favor for the tournament, for all we know. But then An notices that look in Percival's eyes that kind of seems like he's kind of depressed or sad. So it really goes to show how she is kind of in tune with Percival, can kind of tell when something's up with him, which is kind of nice. We then cut to the two of them outside of town, looking up at where the battle arena is seemingly going to be, and showcases that Camelot has 3 moons. So yeah, Arthur created his own mini dimension with stars and moons. Makes sense. It's chaos. It's basically the god of that universe, so it kind of makes sense that that's the case here and there. But An says, man, look at the 3 moons. We're liable to go crazy if we stay in Camelot. Probably referring to what happened to Team Tristan, but also the fact that with how things are in Camelot, that if they stay there too long, they'll probably lose it or just not want to leave. But Percival brings up that he ran into Diordra, his brother, and this shocks An. Ironside's son, you met him. As Percival goes on to say, he was exposed to the Demon King's poison from the moment he was born. Camelot's the only place he can actually live in, and that Percival was meant to be the body he'd take up. And he doesn't know why he came to the Cauldron for, but he has a feeling it might be because of him. So yeah, obviously we all know this. We all know why Ironside essentially put a life spirit into Percival's basic dead body to move his son's soul into this revived body so it wouldn't be plagued by all the disease and the poison from the Demon King back when it was literally trying to destroy the world. So yeah, Percival's definitely still going to hold on to some guilt, even though it's not none of this is his fault. But I like An here, as he just literally just yells out at him, who cares about any of that? You've done nothing wrong, it's all Ironside's fault. As Percival just stares at her as she continues to say, besides, Diordra is under Camelot's so-called benevolent protection, isn't he? And even though Percival says, I don't know why he's even here, An just says, why should you even care why he's here is what he should be asking in the first place. He smiles and laughs, saying, yeah. As An just is kind of annoyed about everything that Percival just being oblivious to certain things and having to just hammer some stuff into his head, which I don't even think she kind of minds. But An wastes no time right now. She says now that they're alone, it's fine if he wants. Basically reminding him about the promise that they made 2 years ago, involving some, I'm gonna be honest with this. While this is kind of, to an extent, kind of heartwarming, it's also kind of funny considering the fact that Percival was just being like a goofball over 2 years ago when this whole thing happened. So yeah, she mentions that Percival can do basically whatever like they promised. But as she looks over, Percival has no goddamn idea what she's referring to in this instance, that she's basically embarrassed. But then Percival's like, oh yeah, I remember now, and as he begins to start, she just embarrassingly leaves, sorry, you ran out of time. As she just walks off to go join the others, completely embarrassed, wondering what she's even saying. And as she ends up just running away at this point, Percival, as An is being like, hurry up, everybody's waiting for you, Percival just smiles and thanks her. Now, literally, I do kind of like the fact that even though it is, to me, kind of cringeworthy what the literal dialogue states about something that I found kind of meh back before the time skip in terms of the dialogue and execution, with the knowledge that no relationship in this series that is going to be 100% solidified for the main cast showcases that Percival could end up being with anybody else. And I do think that with what An knows about what happened with Naziennes, she probably felt a bit jealous, perhaps. And maybe the fact that Percival's finally back after 2 long years without him, her feelings were starting to actually, like, take surface, especially now that 2 of them actually had a moment by themselves for the first time in a long time. They're both adults. Anything could happen. But still, I just like the fact that these two can just have, like, regardless of everything that happened, a nice, wholesome moment where they legitimately just cheer each other up. And I find that pretty nice. An is emotionally mature one in their entire group dynamic. And now that everyone's gotten older, they're a lot more mature, she can kind of vibe out when anybody in that whole group has something on their mind and something's troubling them. And the fact that it's Percival and she's the one that kind of goes over to kind of just talk him out of his little funk that he's having with literally everything that just got trauma dumped on him and revisited in that one brief interaction, and meeting his kind of brother, also kind of the person that he was supposed to be the host for. It's a complicated situation. It was a nice moment, and I will give my flowers to that. But we then move over to the next day, as the announcer goes on to say good morning to everybody, and that today is when the official Festival of Gladiators kicks off in style. And so they are going to be at the top of the tower for this actual fight, so there's definitely going to be some cheers all around. And it's going to have a special arena, and it seems like we're going to have like an actual audience to watch it in this whole stadium. So that's really cool. And so now it's time to announce the matchups of the final 16, and here we go. Ending the chapter with a 2-page spread with the actual tournament brackets for the A block and the B block. So let's break down each of these blocks. Battle 1 for the A block will be Percival versus Gareth. Battle 2 will be Donnie versus Mystery Package. Now look, if all our theories are the fact this is Gother in disguise, RIP Donnie, you're done, you're not making it past like the literal first punch. Battle 3 in A block is An versus Diodra. Next up in Battle 4 is Naziennes versus Rothes, one of Diodra's aides. Next we got Battle 1 of B block, which is Gawain versus Turret, I believe that's the name. The person that was using life spirits seemingly to attack Percival, and is also another one of Diodra's aides. Battle 2 of B block is going to be Hauser versus Balin. And since the previous chapters were setting up for Balin to seemingly be the person that Gawain will fight, unfortunately Hauser might end up losing. Battle 3 is interesting. It's going to be Tristan versus Qian. So that's going to be interesting. I don't like Qian, but I also can't wait to see what he's going to do in battle with his new spirit arts and his new strength over the last 2 years. We're then going to get Isolde versus Pelio. I want to see Pelio fight a bit more, but I do see Isolde winning and it being her versus Tristan. Now look, based on all these interactions, a lot of these fights can go in unexpected ways, but I do expect to see the finals to be Tristan versus Percival, because I really, really want that to be the case. They deserve a literal round 2 in their fight to be an actual fight, and I really hope that it's something that within Tristan's 2 fights with Shion and Isolde, his old memories stir up and awakens. And once he sees Percival again, I really hope he's like actually pissed off and goes full demon mode to try and take him down as a way to just relieve all the anger and disappointment over the last 2 years. Though that would also mean that he would have to beat Gawain. There is the possibility that he can in fact beat Gawain, but we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, these are the final brackets. I'm excited for it, and I really, really cannot wait for this tournament to finally begin in the next chapter. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this chapter in the comment section down below. How do you feel about Percival's whole thing with Gareth? What do you think is going on with Gareth? And what's going to happen with Percival? How do you feel about the moment On and Percival had in this chapter? And how do you feel about these whole brackets? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really shows that you enjoy what I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. And one quick thing. Maybe I'll make a full-on, in-depth prediction video for this tournament going on at some point. I can't guarantee anything, but it'll definitely be more of a discussion-based. Probably won't really be heavily edited. It'll just be me talking to you guys. So if you want to see that, let me know in the comments below. All that's said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have an awesome day.